What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in review for December 16th, 2024. 4.0 is now open to all backers, and it really feels like it. We got a deeper look at the Mirai Guardian, and Luminalia is here. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, so stop by and say hi from here. Not a week goes by where I meet more of you, and it's awesome. But before we get into this busy week, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. Manta Sleep makes the world's best sleep masks and functional sleep accessories. Lately, I have really tried to be more productive, and that means I'm at the computer more than ever before. Taking a break and getting some relief has never been more important to me. How have I been getting that relief is making sure I give myself some time with two products that I really enjoy. The Steam and Cool eye cups. They're so easy to use. You could just remove your standard sleeping eye cups and just slap these on for instant relief. I use the Steam cups whenever I'm feeling congested and I need to loosen up those muscles around my sinuses. And because I spend so much time on the computer, I tend to get those stress headaches. You know, the ones right behind your eyes? There is nothing like a cold compress right on that spot. And at the end of the night, there's no better pair than the Manta Sleep Silk Mask and the Silk Pillowcase. I have been sleeping much better since these have made their way into my life. So if you're interested in improving your sleep and becoming more productive, then join the ProNap movement at mantasleep.com and use code SaltEMike, and you can get up to 30% off your order. This is the biggest sale they've had yet. Don't miss this one. It's going on all throughout December. Thanks again, as always, for engaging with the sponsors. They keep this train running, and it helps right now more than you know. But with that, let's move into those patch notes. On Monday, we had a 4.0 Wave 2 on the PTU. Three big things of note here is they backtracked on what I thought was a great change, and that they were not allowing missiles to come back after claiming, since it's an exploit to not pay for the replacement ordnance. They decided to not do that. So leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about it. The game is an alpha, and it also needs to be a game at some point. So it's like everyone's going to be right about their feelings about this, but in the end, at some point, we need to go forward, I think. Then player backpack updates. This is awesome. You can now fit armor in your backpack and certain guns up to the dimensions listed in the notes. But basically, it let me put shotguns and SMGs and smaller weapons and a grenade launcher for some reason, but not things like snipers or LMGs. I was able to place backpacks in backpacks, and it got a little crazy. And yeah, they also did something unique. They spawned us in our hangar, so we can avoid all the issues with elevators. More on that in a moment. Tuesday, we had a 4.0 Wave 2 PTU again. Tuesday, the testing focus was on server performance, and now with 10 servers running. And all I have to say is things felt a little better, but my concerns remain the same. It's a lot of servers for so few players, so I wonder what the costs are. And prospector bags can now easily be removed and re-added or swapped because they removed that silly bar that was locking them in. But what is not fixed is, and this is unfortunate, but I also kind of don't think this is happening for a little while, is them being attached to cargo grid. So putting them on ships or putting them on your freight elevator and everything else that goes with that, like them being able to be brought to the refinery and things like that, just through the bags and not the ship. They did something with rental prices, but I noticed that there was just way less useful ships to rent at Orison. So let me know if you know any more information on it. I didn't find much. The big issue with this patch is they removed the hangar spawning because it was problematic. Basically, the hangars were disappearing in this patch. The patch was problematic, not the hangar spawning. Yeah, so they are also doing aggressive cleanup, they said. So they're going to clean up ships at outposts and things like that. Yet every time I spawn into a hospital bed, there's 50 hospital gowns on the floor. So maybe they could do a little bit more work there. Wednesday, another 4.0, but this was Wave 4 PTU. Really big push began, and yeah, keeping the same configuration with 10 servers, 500 players, with a ton of changes and fixes. But the experience I had was absolutely awful. I had interaction delays on Ruin Station for literally 10 minutes. Entity counts were reaching near 1 million at Ruin Station on a stream that I saw that was crazy. Bog stream, if you guys know Bog. And then they rolled the backpack nesting. So you can't put backpacks in backpacks, and they fixed some issues where it couldn't hold much in our actual armor, like med pens and things like that. They also allow snipers in our backpacks now, but still no LMGs, even though snipers are longer than LMGs. Look at all the loot that you can carry, though. It's pretty crazy. They made some changes to the advanced HUD, namely their words instead of icons as an option, if that's what you prefer. And also, a lot of fixes around the speed limiter. No more scrolling every time you swap from nav to SCM and back, which is great. They updated the Arena Commander menu to be Luminalia themed. Not gonna lie, it's kind of cool that they do that. I still like that. And lastly, if you are spawning into your home location, you will bypass the hab elevators, which frequently break. Again, this time, it's like official. It's staying this way. It's only at your home now, where before it was anywhere. And then, yeah, but don't die because hospital elevators were still breaking. The Starfarer is working again for now. We know that this thing likes to break. This is a must for some of the changes made to quantum fuel tanks with Pyro, right? Some people are going to get stuck. The additions, well, that's the additions, I should say, but how did it go? I was barely able to get any footage. Again, the interaction delays were so bad. There were double digits in minutes. There were 30Ks. After those 30Ks, I was locked out for playing for hours. So yeah, this was not a ready for live patch. Lastly, the actual real deal contested zone rewards are in. I was part of an amazing group that battled a ton of bugs to be what we believed, and I think confirmed, to be the first people ever to claim the actual contested zone reward. Now, it's PTU. It's not a world first or anything like that. It's meaningless, but it was super cool. So what is it? It's a ship, but it isn't just any ship. There's a pool of ships that you can get, 5, we believe, but they aren't just stock ships. I got a stealth cutlass that had a full lot of 6 NDBs, which you can't buy in shops anymore, and they're kind of the meta PvP ship weapons, and a number of stealth components, which are considered to be meta PvP components, none of which are sold in shops anywhere in the verse anymore. This is amazing. Here's why. We're starting to figure out this pool a little bit. I got a Cutlass, Burke's got a F7A Mark II, and then later we got a Gat-Tak Sulin. So it's kind of random, but sometimes you get a really cool ship, and sometimes you get a ship that you may not want, but the components are valuable. So you get kind of like a loot crate ship. So whenever they fix duping issues, this gameplay is going to be incredibly desirable. Also, while this is group heavy gameplay, if you are really patient, and you could do this solo. I've been trying. It's possible, but it's incredibly hard. Then on Thursday, we went to open PTU for 4.0, and they did more visual optimizations across the game, but nothing super stuck out to me. Breathable atmospheres in Pyro is probably relevant information, and for features, the biggest change to me is turrets. They have a new auto mode that, well, it's kind of the same, but it's also new, that you just have to keep the ship inside the circle, and the turret just auto aims, and the UI is really good and lets you know when to fire, right? This is absolutely a squadron focused change that's coming to us, and it would be really nice that if it worked in game like that, and not sure how it goes in PvP. We tested it, but for now, a good pilot would really never get close enough to get damaged from a turret, so it's hard to say if turrets need more changes, right? Another big change is to the handheld tractor beam. It's much longer range, but less strength. So it's a bit more useful, but no comparison to the Max Lift or Atlas. And yeah, I was actually able to see the reputation change for once on Thursday because I was actually able to complete a mission. Let's go. I think it was maybe like 1 for every 4 to 5 missions I accepted, and I guess that's better than 0. The reasons missions are so busted is the mission system refactor, but here we are showing how a mission survived server error, and it worked. So that was kind of what the mission system refactor is supposed to be doing, but this mission is one of the ones that ended up failing. So I don't know if I lost it because of the mission system refactor or because of the server crashing, right? Like, what was the issue there? It's hard to say. Then Friday, we're still open PTU, obviously, and there are more contested zones and asteroid-based performance optimizations. They disabled the sleep and dance emotes because people had been using them to sneak into places they shouldn't be for literally years, and it's really an issue in contested zones. They updated easy bounty mission rewards, and they added the P8AR ammo to the shops in preparation for them to be in the game. Outside of that, mining is now possible, so I did that for the rest of the day. Previously, you couldn't find too many rocks since they didn't really come up on scan. And active modules work now, so you have no idea how much this means to miners out there. They can now use tools to break much bigger rocks than they had been able to, like Surge and Stampede. Those were completely broken. So that was it for the week. Overall, the Friday patch felt a lot better for the first, I would say, 18 hours. And then, man, I didn't play later on in the day, but all I heard was people saying and showing how bad it was. So I don't know if we're ready for live yet. They're trying, and we're gonna see. But let's move on to Luminalia, which is simply the holiday celebration in the Star Citizen universe. This is like basically what they're doing. A starter ship sale, right? They offered a few ships on discount, and I think it's just the ones that actually have been given holiday skins before, or maybe that are getting them. A referral reward, so if you sign up one player, you get a Mirai Pulse. They're also offering a new mission where you could be Santa and drop gifts off to people. It didn't pay much, but it didn't exactly work for me either. The mission sent me to a hostile location, which I doubt was intentional. So when I was trying to drop off, I was killed by a distribution center. So it's like, yeah, if they're going to send you to hostile locations, it should probably be obvious, and it should probably pay a little bit more than 8,000 credits. And then the standard advent calendar that they've been doing for a couple of years is on the website, which I really enjoyed last year. They have my favorite paint skins. So far, we got a Forum badge to start. Second, we got a Karna skin. And then we got 2 ship skins for the Kruger ship. The white skin is my favorite. I love that one, the white and blue. And lastly, for this week, there was an LH86 skin, and I will keep you posted for the rest next week. And lastly, there was some contest on the forums. So that was it for all the things in the patches this week. Let's move on to Roadmap Roundup. So all this roadmap is basically stating that a few more things are committed. Some of us were hoping to hear the status of 4.0's live release, but we got nothing of the sort. They started out with contested zones. These, in my opinion, are the most interesting thing in the 4.0 release. They provided the most amount of exploration, discovery, replayability that I've seen in Star Citizen yet. The rewards are weapons, weapon attachments, ship components, and yes, even ships that you cannot get anywhere else in the game. And we talked about that earlier. It's awesome. Then it's asteroid bases outside of their use in the contested zone loop. I really don't have any level of excitement for these. They're just bunkers that we have in Stanton, but with trash inside. They're actually literally cookie cutter, exactly the same, just like those bunkers. These will get very boring very quickly for people, I think. Then the good stuff. They've committed the mission refactor that has shown exactly 0 signs over the course of the PTU up to the time that the roadmap was posted. It's gotten a little bit better, that they are capable of delivering this in a working experience. And then lastly, one of the main reasons they're pushing to get this out by the end of the year, besides saying that they released 4.0, is to sell this heavy fighter, the Mirai Guardian. More on that in a moment. And then for video updates, we had an Inside Star Citizen. No Star Citizen live this week because it's the end of the year, and they're probably not going to be back until like February for these videos. This will be the last ISC as well. This was the end of the year patch where they just basically don't share anything that regular followers don't already know, and they just run down some of the stuff in this patch 4.0. So most of you know this. If you do, skip to the last clip because that's the kind of new information. But if you have been living under a rock, I'm just going to run through these quicker than they even did. The most important thing coming to the patch is server meshing. So yeah, they use some community footage here, and then the jump points are a big part of that, right? Transitioning us from Stanton to Pyro and back. They got easier and shorter during the PTU, but I like where they are right now personally. Let me know if you are feeling good about them. Then a new system comes with new locations and factions. They showed some of the new stations and introduced us to Rough and Ready, the Headhunters, and Citizens for Prosperity factions. They also showed us a ton of new planets and moons, 11 to be exact, and they're beautiful. On some of the stations are contested zones, some of the coolest content I've seen in Star Citizen. When it works, it's been a roller coaster ride during the PTU, and we'll see how it goes on live. On the planets and stations in Pyro also are some creatures, Quasi-Grazer, which also resides in Stanton, and there's all different types, I think 4. There are domesticated Copians now, and Alloprats, the little rats that you'll find in contested zones. The FOIP improvements from CitizenCon are in, apparently. I wouldn't know since I don't have a webcam attached to my gaming PC. The Quantum Drive updates are bringing some variety to the travel in the game, but I think there will be a lot more that needs to happen with that. So yeah, right now it feels kind of very much like everything else where it's all super standardized and the variety isn't quite there yet. And then the Carrack got an update with its cargo and blast doors now functioning, so that's pretty cool, I guess. And then lastly, they gave us our first look at the Mirai Guardian. Well, our second look.
And of course, we have to mention the legendary Space Wolf itself. The Mirai Guardian makes its presence known and looks to reckon with anyone that called it the Fat Fury in the past. We're just going to sit quiet and look at the Guardian fly around for a bit. Ooh. I've seen the previews on the trailer. I don't have anything to do with it, but it looks really cool. It's going to be a good trailer when it comes.
All I'm going to say on this one is that if this ship is the reason that the patch is getting rushed out the door when it's nowhere near ready for a wider audience, that's silly. So I hope CIG sells millions of these, but I don't want to sacrifice a successful 4.0 patch release for one ship, right? I get it for an IAE, but not for this. Let's move on to other updates. And as always, we start out with a sneak peek. This is just a small look at the contested zones and a single location of them. Just a tiny look into the refinery area in the Fire Rats area, basically. There are respawn mechanics for enemies here, but if you are ever able to make it here, take the time and take in the absolutely awesome job they did on like the culty vibes. And then for dev posts, we actually have a lot of them this week. The best in show mess is what we'll start out with. Last week, I reported on the fact that there were some issues with sending out the best in show paints and rewards, and they would get to them eventually. This week, they took them all back from everyone because there were people who had them that shouldn't, and there were those that should that didn't. So yeah, once again, I will report to you that we'll eventually get them. Then the Ares Overheat. Ares Inferno is apparently badly nerfed on the PTU right now. Badly nerfed, I should say. But Yogi seems to think it's because some changes to the way they do overheating mechanics have come in. If you like to fly this thing, send him some videos about how it works, because the people that were typing on Spectrum weren't being really helpful. Classic, I know. And then speaking of Spectrum, this is a quick one. They updated the look of it, and they've been working on the website changes for a while now. This one came with a new bar above and a font change and form color as well. Then batteries. Torsten let us know that batteries will not be a part of the initial engineering gameplay release when it does make it in. They want to focus on the basics of the mechanic first. Good. One thing at a time and make it fun. Batteries can enhance the experience, but there's a lot of concern around engineering and it possibly not being very enjoyable. So I hope they get it fun first and then add that complexity to it. Then MFD bugs. If you have set your MFD and then quantum traveled somewhere yet, they reset. Yogi lets us know that's staying in until after 4.0, which basically makes the MFD updates more of a pain than any improvement at all. I'll just take the time to say this. After the release of 4.0, if any feature comes in and it's not working with server meshing, that would be really dumb. And then we had a lore post. This is just the history of Luminalia. It's one of those reposted lore articles, but link is in the description if you're interested in how the in-game holiday came about and why those little gifts are everywhere. And that'll do it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a crazy, crazy few months for Week in Review in terms of just how much stuff there is. I've put a huge focus into trying to have my own personal video for every single thing that we talk about here because I play the game and I want you guys to recognize that. I get a lot of crap for talking about the game, but I do actually play it, and I want you guys to know that, you know, the opinions that I have are coming from my experiences, not from just out of nowhere, right? And yeah, I think it'll probably slow down quite a bit after this coming week. I think we'll have probably a patch every day this coming week, but then after that, it's all about just playing the game and finding the fun. So I hope we're able to do that. We'll see. And yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Make sure you guys check out Manta Sleep if you haven't yet. And yeah, subscribe, all that stuff. Merch link will be down below as well, saltymike.tv. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next week.